I have the new white dial Speedmaster Professional, the new white Lacquered Dial Moonwatch to share with you today. I'm very excited about this. Again, it's all new. It is a long requested model by watch fans, speedy fans, and Omega has listened to the consumer base and they've released this. It's not a reduced, it's not a racing, it's not a precious metal or a highly limited version of the Moonwatch. It is a full production, non-limited sapphire sandwich with a gorgeous white lacquer dial and dark applied markers. Now, honestly, how is this? I will say it's really dang good. It is also not an inexpensive watch though. $7,800 if you buy this on a strap full retail price, or $8,100 if you buy this on a bracelet like I have in front of the camera today. And being a bracelet fan, I think going with the bracelet is a must. This has a great design. It even has the newer quick extension system in the clasp that you don't need a tool to be able to make those positional changes. So that's really nice to see. Now, I'd like to shout out my friend Kyle. He's a local watch friend of mine. This is his personal white dial Speedmaster that he's graciously lent me for this video. He bought it from my recommended Omega authorized dealer, Exquisite Timepieces. They are a family-owned brick-and-mortar AD in Florida. They carry over 60 brands. They are a large AD, so they get a lot of new stock, a lot of great models. So if you're shopping for a watch like this or another Omega, I'll definitely recommend them and link their store and my sales associate Joe in the description of this video. Now let's take a closer look at this dial, the star of this release. This still retains the form, that raised shape of the dial with the outer edges sloping downward where the applied markers will rest. This also has the sunken sub-registers that carry the faintest trace of concentric texturing, so the general form will be exactly the same as the standard black dial Moonwatch, but of course this has a soft lacquered finish, and I think it looks so nice. It's not overly bright in most light situations, but when you get it in the right angle with the right light source, you see a subtle reflection on this white plane, the different angles. It looks so good. And I definitely think that this watch would not be as exciting without this lacquered finish. This really is a great move from the Swatch Group. The text will be thick and dimensional, also slightly reflective, but you only notice that when you zoom in on a macro level. The hands are a black colored metal, same with the applied markers and the Omega logo. In almost every light situation, they just look black. They have very nice contrast with the white lacquered finish of the dial. But then in some angles, with some light sources, they get completely reflective and they look very similar to untreated stainless steel or just a rhodium plated handset. And I like how dynamic this is. And then also something else that I feel I need to mention. It is common for me to find some type of issue under magnification when it comes to the detail work, and this watch is no different. If you look at the 11 marker and also the minute hand, you'll see some faint imperfections, and that certainly is disappointing to watch fans, and it can be unacceptable to some watch fans who want perfection in their luxury timepieces. But unfortunately, this is not at all uncommon for luxury watch brands that sell watches at under $10,000. You don't notice it unless you bust out the loop or a macro lens like this. Now, the ARC looks really sharp. The smoky ring on this proud box-shaped sapphire crystal, which is so prominent on the standard sapphire sandwich model, is far less noticeable or less pronounced on this white dial. The bezel is aluminum when it comes to the insert material, and this does have the dots over the 90, which is nice, for the purists who want to see that. I personally have no issue with the material of the bezel. This is a Moonwatch after all, but I do think it is fair to say that this was a bit of a missed opportunity on Omega's part to not do ceramic like the Speedmaster Racing. I think I would prefer ceramic because this is not a quote unquote traditional Moonwatch. It's not trying to look exactly like the versions that astronauts took into space and to the moon. I'm okay breaking with tradition and doing a sleek modern material like ceramic. But that said, I certainly don't feel like aluminum is a deal breaker with this. The loom is solid for the amount of surface area on the hands and markers. It will glow green in low light conditions. The bracelet looks great. It has a very retro type of feel when it comes to the layout, when it comes to the length of the links, when it comes to the large taper and this grooved clasp. I really like the look. It's comfortable, and I've noticed no hot spots on this. The movement within the case is the 3861 Meta-certified caliber that is based on a Lamania chronograph with cantilever actuation. And this finish is just classic. It's beautiful to view behind the open case back. It is different from the arabesque pattern that Omega generally does with their in-house coaxial movements. And I think it is a good choice that they did not use that finish on this 3861. They went with the classic striping and just the more traditional look. Again, I think it's so nice to see behind an open case back, and it will be more attractive, in my own opinion, than an automatic style chronograph where the rotor will obscure half of the movement at any given time. Those certainly can be done very well, but there is just something very charming about seeing all of the gears, all of the various components of this Lamania-based caliber. The winding, the action is exactly the same as a standard Moonwatch. The caliber is modified to be a coaxial escapement, and it is master chronometer certified. So just really great in that regard as well. So let's summarize the good. Let's talk about the bad, and I'll answer some questions in closing. Starting with the good. Beautiful dial execution. It's so nice to see Omega listening to the fans and coming out with a product that a lot of us have been asking for a long time. I think this has a great bracelet. This has a great clasp and adjustability system. This has the trusted Meta-certified hand wind caliber that looks great behind the exhibition style case back. And then what I think is very important, this is the classic Moonwatch design. It has the lyre lugs. It has the proportions. It has the 42.5 millimeter case. It's extremely versatile if you like to mix it up with different strap options. I think this is going to be hard not to match on a wide range of different straps. But the best part, this is a new take, kind of a modern, sleek take on the celebration of the most iconic sport watch in history, the watch used by NASA's astronauts taken to the surface of the moon and back to the Earth again. So, I mean, it just doesn't get much cooler than that. Now, I don't anticipate Omega doing, say, a blue dial or a sunray dial or other colors in the near future, but that's just my own opinion. If there is something that we do know as watch fans and fans of Omega specifically, it's the fact that this brand knows the Speedmaster name is desirable, and they will never cease to focus on expanding the product line in various ways, whether that's a swatch collaboration or a limited edition or a new colorway. So we'll see what happens in the future, but I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what Omega does with this. Now, what about the drawbacks? I would prefer a ceramic bezel insert like I previously mentioned. I also mentioned that some of the markers and the hand finishing could be tidied up a little bit, but really, I have nothing serious to complain about. This is a solid watch all the way around. Now, to the questions. As a previous Sapphire Sandwich owner, which one do I like more? Do I like the black dial or do I like this new white dial? Well, I feel like the black is the original. That's going to be hard to beat. If you want the full Moonwatch experience, I think you go black dial. But if maybe you've already tried that, like so many thousands of us watch collectors have, and you want something a little different, maybe something with more finesse and visual interest, I think that you go white dial. Personally, I like both, and I'm not quite sure which one I like more at the moment. I'm leaning white, but that's most likely recency bias talking. Now, would I buy one? Yes, I definitely would buy one. But my own plan is to wait a little bit for the hype to die down and the availability to increase. But yes, I do plan on buying one at some point in the future. I think it's a great design, it's a great execution, and I see this similarly to the white dial ceramic bezel Seamaster Professional that came out several years ago. When that first was introduced, it was so hyped. It was very hard to get initially, but over time, over the years, that died down a bit. It's still considered one of the most desirable Seamaster models on the market, but they're not hard to get at this moment in time. And I hope the same thing happens here with this. I expect it to be harder to find, certainly hyped up front, but over time, perhaps that hype dies down and the pricing and availability adjust accordingly. So we'll see what happens there. That said, thank you to my friend Kyle for allowing me some time. Very generous to allow me to film this new release, this hard to come by model. Definitely check out Exquisite Timepieces if you're looking for a white dialed Speedmaster or any other Omega. I'll place my contact information for Joe in the description. Definitely recommend Exquisite. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you next time.